Well, good morning, everybody. We're here at another Children of the Nation, and we are attempting a international meeting by focusing on Sierra Leone. As you can tell with my background, and as we're all going to share, we've been to Sierra Leone to fellowship with our brothers and sisters up in Vanta. And so I'm Dave Schertzer. I'm the Chief Project Officer at Children of the Nations. I'm just going to go around the horn and have people introduce themselves so that you know who advocates. We're big advocates for the work that's happening in Sierra Leone with education, with technology. And so I'm going to start it off with Jeremy, then Andrea, Paul, and then we will have Jeremy introduce Edward. So Jeremy, why don't you start off?
Yeah, no, thanks for the introduction, Dave. So I'm Jeremy Highland. I've been working, volunteering off and on with Children of the Nations for a long time now, probably, I don't know, almost 2 decades. And I was very fortunate. I got to go visit Sierra Leone last November, and I got to meet the whole group out there and do some technology training with the instructors, see the computer labs. So it was a great experience. And I'm excited to talk to Edward today and the rest of the team out there about some challenges that they're facing, just to make sure we get that exposure to a larger audience. So thank you, Dave.
That's wonderful. And Andrea?
Hi, Edward. I was actually out in Banta last January. I don't know if you recognize me with my glasses. I was at the pastoral conference. So hi, everybody. We had a great time visiting you all and meeting you all. And so it's nice to see familiar faces today.
Thank you, Andrea. And she's just a wonderful representative for COTN on our staff and represents us in the Northwest and the huge advocate for our children. And Paul Abbott, so glad you're on the meeting. If you could introduce yourself to those listening to this recording, unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you so much for including me in this technology team meeting. I'm so glad to be here with you. I'm the educational program leader for Children of the Nations International. And I also was in Sierra Leone with Jeremy in November and got to participate in the tech training and tours around the campus and in surrounding villages, including Mokpangaba. I was so glad to be able to meet Edward and also Mr. Brima Will and many of the other gentlemen that were there as well. So I'm so glad to be reuniting with you today.
That's great. And so Edward, please tell us, introduce yourself and who's with you. Edward, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who is with you.
Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Edward Taylor, working for Children of the Nations, attached to the Education Department under Mel Regency Memorial Secondary School. I am with my fellow colleagues, which we are part of the science students. We have our HOD by the name of Mr. Donald Kamara. He's the HOD for the science department. And then we have Mr. Jones. He's also a senior teacher and is also a science teacher teaching core science and biology. And we also have Mr.
This meeting is being recorded.
And we also have Mr. Kemo, also a teacher and teaching integrated science. So I thought it fit to let them be around and to be part of this meeting since it's a science meeting. So we can all have a one showcase.
Will, you probably need to mute your speakers.
Okay, Will, go ahead.
Okay.
Great.
So, to be part of the meeting, yeah.
So this is what happens to us here in the States when we have two people in the same room with Zoom. They echo on each other. And so, gentlemen, I'm gonna ask that one of you has your speakers on. Just one of you. So one of your laptops, turn the volume all the way down, and then when you're ready, go ahead and you can unmute one of your computers. So actually, this is a success meeting because we've had meetings in Malawi, we've had meetings here in the States where there's errors or echoes, and it's actually, I would tell you that the people listening to this and watching it are chuckling because it happens to them. This happens to everybody who does technology. There's some echo and there's a distance to it. So let's transition. We really want to focus on a conversation with Jeremy, with Edward, and of course, his colleagues, Brima out there in Sierra Leone. So Jeremy, if you could unmute, and then Edward, if you could unmute, or you could hit the space bar, you could touch the space bar down as you're talking, but or else Brima, you can unmute your laptop, hit the unmute button. So Jeremy.
Yeah, Edward, are you? Can you hear me? Can you unmute?
Yes,
You're still muted.
Yes,
There we go.
I can hear you now.
Good. Perfect. Perfect. So Edward, would you provide or talk to the group about just the work that you're doing there as the ICT teacher? And that for those who don't know ICT, that means information, communication, and technology. So could you tell us a little bit about the training you're doing with the kids and some of the ways that you use technology there in the computer lab and how it's working for you?
Edward, we can hear you. So if you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about your work with the students, that'd be wonderful.
Yes, yes. First and foremost, we are dealing with the old school from JSS1 to SS3, and we are dealing with the fundamentals. What do I mean? Like, we are trying to build the children's skills in terms of typing, in terms of painting, like to teach them how to design, how to use the paint in software to do some painting, and also we teach them how to use Microsoft Word in order to develop a Word document, teaching them how to do a composition with the computer, teaching them how to prepare letter typing, informal letter and formal letter, and also teaching them how to build tables, graph, and also some other basic computing stuff.
No, thank you. What are some of the challenges that you're
Hello?
facing? Oh, can you hear me? Oh, Edward, can you
I
hear
can
us?
hear you. Some of the
Oh, okay.
challenges I'm
Yeah.
facing or we are facing as yes, I can hear you. Especially when it comes to the science department. I'm going to showcase about the IT, and then I'm going to call my colleague, which we are part of the science team, so that we can showcase some of the difficulties and challenges we are facing as a science department. Because ICT is just a fraction of the science department. we also have another aspect of the science department which we are facing a lot of challenges. From my own area as an ICT tutor and a teacher, we are facing the challenge of internet. You know, as a school, that is one of the biggest challenge. As a school, you need to have internet thing because this helps the school, this helps the teachers, this helps the student also to do researches and also to help them and to aid them in their studies. And we have been battling with this internet. That is one. Secondly, the light, the stability of light. You know, the stability of light is also because in the morning hours, when school commences, we don't have light. We don't have light until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. And you guys have been here. And currently there is no light. So we are trying, as you guys are preparing for the solar installation. I don't know how far you guys are with it. So we are pleading so that we can have stability of light. You know, that's another challenge. And another issue is PC, the computers for teachers. You know, when it comes to examination, tests or examination questions, preparing of exam questions, teachers goes through a lot of challenges in terms of preparing their questions. And you know, teachers access the lab, the computer lab, and students also access the computer lab. So the challenge is for them to access the questions, you know, it might be possible for them to access the questions. So that's another challenge. So we prefer for each teacher to have his or her own computer to prepare their own questions, and also they can be able to print it out. So, and also it's a term of printing also. As a school, we don't have a printer. We always face difficulties with the administration. When it comes to printing, unless we have to outlet the printing source, and that costs a lot of money, you know, that costs a lot of money and it affects the budget of the education department. So we are asking also as a school to have a printer. I'm talking about the technical aspect of the ICT part of the school. And also, we are trying, once you guys will be helping us with those competitions, those inter-competitions, inter-school competitions, like Malawi, Sierra Leone, so we can be competing with others in terms of technology, you know, with the students, to be creating those platforms, you know, so the kids can also expand their knowledge and interact with other COTN kids around the world. You know, this is not just this internal, you know, so they can be creating those avenues for the kids to expand their knowledge and to learn more and to share more. And I want to give my friend the platform, the science teacher, the platform to showcase his own challenges in the science department. So, Mr. Jones, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edward. And I'll say thank you, Mr. Jeremy. We appreciate your kind gesture in order trying to help us as people of this part of the world, of Abanta. For the science department, we have a lot of challenges actually. For me, I am a teacher teaching biology and core science. For the biology aspect and the core science, we don't have much problem really. But for chemistry and physics, there lies the problem. We have, thank God, when you came here the other time, you visited the lab. We have a lab, but we don't have reagents, we don't have elements, we don't have the rest stands. You know, all these things are pertinent to performing titration. And you know, chemistry, you can't practice chemistry without knowing the practical aspect of it. For the theoretical aspect, is good. We have materials, we have books that we can teach the kids, they will understand. But it has to move along with the practical aspect. And we are pleading to you guys at least to help us have these reagents and some elements, because if we want to perform a compound, we do not have acid-base solutions here. And when we want to perform these things, there must be some elements present that when you add chlorine to sodium, how does it react? We want practically for the children to see. So when they see, they will believe the process, and they too will learn how to perform those experiments. Thank you. So that's all. Okay. So I'm going to call the HOD, the head of department, the HOD, the head of department, to also showcase his own challenges. Good afternoon. How are you? Yeah. As you've heard from one of my colleagues, now as the head of department, when I took over the department, there are lots of lapses as he has analyzed it. We need, let me say, an equipped lab. You see, now you know the examination these children go through, they perform some practicals. So we need those equipment to equip the lab. So if the lab is equipped, the children will be able to perform some practicals for themselves. Having gone through everything, when they face the exams, they'll be able to do well in the examination. So as my colleague have just said, we need those equipment so that the lab will be equipped. And again, teaching, we need while teaching mathematics and other subjects in the science department, like at times, like we are having some flashcards that they send for us, but now that one is lacking a little bit for the kids, especially those in the SS1, 2 coming up. They need those things. So we are pleading, if though all those things are available in the school, the children can do well in the science areas. Because in the JSS now, we start encouraging them so that when they come to the senior secondary school, they'll be able to choose the science area so that they can explore a lot in the science department. So we are pleading to you guys to help us equip our lab. That's it. Thank you.
And the last person is another colleague by the name of Mr. Kemo, is an integrated science teacher.
Hello, sir. Colleague have almost said all. We are really facing problems in the science department. Most of the apparatus we need to embark on this science process, we lack them. So our own request is we are pleading you help us have this material so that we can be able to deliver our lesson well. We lack science equipment, science apparatus. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, good day. Good afternoon on my side, and good morning on your side. How are you? I don't want this meeting to be like a pleading one. I am happy to have you on listening to us. I appreciate the effort you are going through getting us do better. We met a school that they have declared a not fit for science, seeing it as a crucial part of the children's learning. And as a result of that, we are losing students to another school. Some were even stranded as a result of that. So I saw the need to include science again. And then coming up with science, yes, there is something we can do. Theoretically, we can go good, but you cannot do science basing on only theories. You need practicals. And when I come to get teachers to do some of these practicals that will really enable the children to have better results, it becomes a challenge. I went into the store and I discovered they are missing so many things. But that notwithstanding, we are still going on. Science, as far as the result you had, we did well. because we tried our best in what we can do practically, and the others we deal with images and description without seeing the items. That really went good with us. Whole school problem is that with the ICT is key to helping make the teaching better. Even when we are talking about no apparatus, if we have a better ICT system, we can listen to audios, to podcasts and other things that will still make our children learn from what they hear and see and then carry on. So ICT is crucial. And the reason why, as a head of school, I am keen to have each member of my staff have a computer is to really enable them, because we draw questions, I ask them to draw their questions and to deliver it digitized. The problem of getting those questions together and getting them on time is a challenge, because the machines that are available are not enough for the number of people to do what they want to do. And so all of these challenges you hear them saying is about that. But as I said, I don't really want this meeting to be one of challenge reports, but to let you get to understand what we are really doing on this part of the world to make learning better. I appreciate your presence and audience.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that summary, because it's so important to understand the challenges that you have. I thank you on behalf of all of us, the children of the nations, for each of you, the work that you're doing in Banta, the hard work with not all the materials. And it is so key when you study the sciences to not just have the knowledge books and the tests and the images of apparatus and science experiments, but to actually have the equipment. So the four of us are very much advocating for you. And I wanted to tell you some good news. And then I'm also going to be, for the people listening to this recording, here's some practical ways to be involved. First of all, I want you to know and pray with us, because the solar equipment that's being sent from Kenya, that was manufactured there with our partners, Worldwide Africa, has left Kenya and is now in the process of being on the ocean to go from Kenya around South Africa to Sierra Leone. And so this is the prayer request. Two prayer requests is one, safely to the port and clearing customs. So important, because this is new technology, and we want to be able to pray that our board and our staff can represent what this means for our campus, for power, 24/7 power. So we want to be praying on behalf of our staff in Freetown to clear customs in a timely manner. The second is that we're asking our partners here in the States to help continue to finish funding this project, because right now we're in a position where we are partially funded, but we're on faith sending the shipment on its way, and we need fundraising. So I want to encourage those who are listening to this recording to go on our website, which is cotni.org. And you can go to ways to give projects, scroll down, and you'll see the Sierra Leone Solar Project. Now we need generous hearts, generous wallets to give towards this project, because we want to be able to send it up country, buy the batteries, send those over. We're going to have a team going to Banta to train the Banta staff, some of you, on the system, and it will have power for the entire campus all night and all day, and we will be using the generator maybe 1% of the time, so we won't have the fuel costs, which is so important, the fuel costs. So that's just huge. The second thing I want to encourage those listening to this meeting is that we do receive from businesses and individuals laptops that are worthy to be replatformed and sent overseas. And we counted over 200 laptops for all 5 of our countries that we need for this year. And so I want to encourage you to reach out to us. And if you were to go to our Get Involved resources, that page talks about donating laptops. You can contact any of our staff and they'll get a hold of me. And I'm trying to get volunteers in our office to prep these laptops to send over so that we can send them with teams. So if you haven't been to Sierra Leone, go to Sierra Leone, experience the education, use your skill set to bless the staff in Banta. And when you go to Sierra Leone, I desperately would love to get laptops enough to send one in your carry-on bag so you could send it over and equip our students and our teachers. So those are 2 practical ways you can be involved. And then because I'm here in the States and I'm coordinating a lot of projects, I turn to people like Jeremy and Paul to work with Edward and Brima to get the apparatuses and the chemicals for the experiments, because sodium and chlorine I can't send from here. It's like highly somewhat dangerous chemicals, and so those have to be sourced there in Sierra Leone. But of course we have to have the apparatuses and the budget for that. So Paul, you got a job there. We got to get some science experiments, get that STEM teaching going. So that's, Paul's like, Paul's muted. He just doesn't even want to talk about it. Like I'm throwing down the gauntlet for him. Like, you feeling any pressure, Paul?
I am. I'm excited about all of the things I've heard from the science team today, chemistry and physics, biology. It is happening, and that's a big goal for the education department. It's been a goal for a number of years to make STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics happening in our classrooms. And so it's great when I hear it coming indigenously from our own teachers daily. So this is a wonderful session for me to be a part of. I'm so excited. I can't wait to report that to Debbie in our next meeting.
That's great. That's great. So Jeremy, did you have maybe one more question?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess, Edward, not just on the technology side, any other things you'd like to share with us? I know I was just amazed when I got to experience the computer lab and the fact that the computers are still working. It's great. But are there any other specific areas around technology you'd like to share with us?
Yes. Like I said, we need more systems. We have 20 clients. We need more systems so we can increase the number of computers. For instance, we have the library. The library, is another important aspect of the school. Yeah, where we can install computers also, desktop computers, for the school. So when the internet comes in now, students can access it either at the computer lab or at the library. So that is another aspect, so you can send. So when sending, you can send some system units and some monitors, So I
Yeah,
guess
that's a really good point. I'm sorry, I'm getting some feedback on my end.
I think Jeremy was saying that we totally get it. Technology is so important. We're getting feedback. That's okay. That's part of having. For those of you also, we continue to wait for Starlink to come to Sierra Leone. once it does, we will send the kit. So we will increase our internet. Our goal is to have internet. As soon as Starlink is open, we will have Starlink content.
Yeah, no, Starlink is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I think Starlink will prove that we need it when we're on very so
hello.
yes, go ahead.
Yes. So I want to suggest, temporarily, since we are waiting for the solar to be installed, because I spoke with Mr. Tamba, who is working at Freetown COTN in relation to this internet. So he said the one that QCell have is going to be 24 hours power system. It should be on the power system. Yes. So what I'm suggesting, what the administration are using, that's MiFi. You can have the MiFi for the school. So if teachers want to access it, they can have access to it. If students want to access it, they can have access to it to connect to do their researches. So if we can have a temporary one, I just want to show you an example. A temporary one like this. This is what we call a MiFi. A temporary one like this from QCell, because QCell is the most efficient one in our district here. It is more efficient, in terms of coverage, in terms of reliability.
This one will not serve the computer system. This is too fast.
Yes, we've used those in other countries.
So what do you suggest
There is one that they will fix for a computer system or so. It's not like this. Yeah, this is personal. This you put in the pocket and move about. When you want to fix a system, there is a bigger one that you can attach, and it gives network, and it can be used. It has bigger coverage than this. Yeah. If you use this one, you are only going to use this personal, carry personal, no personal in there. So if for the use of the school, if we have one, like the one they have in the ministry, the big one, it serves the entire building. We can have it in the computer room, but they can access it in the library and all around. So it gives a better coverage. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, even when we send the Starlink,
yeah,
we can continue the signal.
Yeah.
To cover more buildings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we're on the verge of doing some incredible this year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the solar is 24. The power all the time.
Our own solar, I know before this time, we used to have even in the quarter, the setup. But all of that is off now. It's not working.
Yeah.
Quarter solars are not working. The school solar is not working. So until they have that solar established, then we can be sure of light continuously. Yeah.
So soon in Bonta, when the whole area is dark, our campus will be fully.
You have to use your mobile phone or your little touch light to move around. If not, lie down and sleep. Good night.
Very soon.
Very soon we'll become a lighter city. Your flight.
So we're going to wrap up the meeting because, you know, it's important for us to go back to our friends and family and partners, major donors, grantors. We would love to get grants for technology. We're going to wrap up this session with Tanky to all of the staff there in Sierra Leone and Banta. I wish I knew more Creole, but thank you so much for your hard work. And we want to continue to ask our partners to contact us, to pray with us, to invest in what we're doing in Banta. It's an incredible work that's happening in the middle of Sierra Leone in an area that has a school of, wow, the work is over 1,000 students. It's amazing what's happening there. And if you haven't been out, I encourage you to go visit. My background is the children's homes that are in Sierra Leone, down on the lower campus. But we're so proud of you. Thank you all, gentlemen, for all the work that you're doing with science. I think all of us are big science folks, so we're very supportive of science. And thank you, Jeremy, for being part of the advocacy. He's in a car, like he's moving and he's still in the meeting. That's great. All in your office, I know that you pray for the countries and interchange with each of the country staff. And yes, Paul, I think we need to get competitions between the countries. I think that'd be great to set that up. Andrea, thank you for your advocacy, working with churches and community groups, civic groups, Rotaries, Kiwanis, Seroptimists, all the things that they're doing. And for some of the folks that have helped to start the funding for the solar, we appreciate that. We pray for that to come in soon. So again, thank you all. We appreciate all that you're doing, and we continue to have these meetings to encourage technology investment. Anybody who wants to invest in technology will find a way of doing it. You can give us a call or you can email us and we will give you opportunities to look at proposals and to invest in our children. It's about the children. And as you can tell, our staff in the country are very passionate about raising children who transform nations. And that's what we're about here at Children of the Nation. So thank you so much. God bless you. We look forward to another tech meeting. Although I would say we need to get 2 countries now on at the same time in a meeting. And so now that we have some good internet, a little bit good internet up in Banta, I think well, once you guys get the solar, you should be on all these meetings. And now we got to say to the other countries that they have to catch up to Sierra Leone. You're ahead of them. They're not coming to these meetings. So that's the challenge. Yes. So thank you so much. God bless you.